Senator Johnson, thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
All right. So you have an opponent this primary season. Why should voters pick you, the incumbent? Why should they return you to office?
I think if the voters look at who's delivered for the district, it is pretty clear. I know that the people of this district need health care, they need economic opportunity, they need electricity. Those are three areas that I have delivered. My opponent really hasn't done anything in these kind of fundamental areas that people need. Let's take a look at health care, for example. I've been the lead in this state on Medicaid expansion. We took it from a footnote that no one was talking about to the front page of every paper in the state. Leadership still won't move on Medicaid expansion, so I found another way. And last 2 sessions ago, we passed a law that we estimate got 200,000 uninsured low-income people, like those who live in my district, health insurance. You know, Dallas County has the highest rate of uninsured people in this whole state. My constituents need health insurance. We've delivered on that front. When it comes to economic opportunity, last session we managed to get into a big tax bill, the first ever in history tax incentive to bring good high-paying jobs to areas that have been overlooked, like areas in Senate District 16.
Your opponent is Representative Victoria Niave Criado. Her biggest criticism of you, she says that you don't fight hard enough against the agenda of Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who is president of the Senate. She has specific examples, most notably SB4, the bill for human smuggling.
Yeah, I think that what's been said by my opponent and others is just kind of an irresponsible misrepresentation of what actually is going on. There were 2 SB4s that dealt with immigration. One of them had to do with basically a racial profiling Governor Abbott bad border bill that I voted against multiple times, that I spoke against on the floor. The other SB4 was this human trafficking bill, and it's very important to note that that bill didn't create a new crime. It created no new basis on which to incarcerate or arrest anybody. That bill's been on the books for 24 years. What it did is increase the penalties for convicted smugglers of human beings, and I voted with the Senate Hispanic Caucus in response to a negotiation that we had to lower the penalties that were proposed in that bill. And thank goodness we did, because they couldn't kill it in the House. That's effective legislation where I stand with my Hispanic Senate colleagues, and I would do so again.
It did split the Democratic Party in the Senate. The majority of the Democrats did vote for it, but a couple did vote against it. How did you come down on that decision?
Well, I respect my colleagues in all of their votes, and we don't always agree on all things. A lot of this comes down to tactics. I want to say something else about that bill. It did not create a new basis. If it's a racial profiling bill, if it were a racial profiling bill, I want to know why my opponent hasn't said a word about it for the 8 years she's been in office. Never filed a bill, never filed an amendment. If this is really causing a problem, why is it that one person in the last 7 years has ever been arrested under the law that it affected? I think this is politics.
What is your philosophy in terms of dealing with and moving forward your agenda with Lieutenant Governor Patrick, arguably one of the most powerful forces in Texas legislative politics?
I can't tell you how much I appreciate that question, Gromer, because it gets to the very heart of what it means to be an effective legislator. It's not a scorecard. It's strategy. It's figuring out where you can get things done, how you can advance something, even if it's going to fail. Sometimes you got to look out 2, 4, 6 years ahead. That's why I file a lot of bills that don't go anywhere, but I also file a lot of bills that I know I can get somewhere. Where is it that they might need some help that I can bring my angle in and pass it? Or where is it that generally they're going to get beat up in elections if they don't go with me? Or where is it that they're unable to do the work that they know I can do? So a lot of my power and influence in that chamber has come, for example, when you get down to the grid, I did the homework, and they know it.